All right, welcome back. Check the tweets, they say. Check the tweets. Let me read you a tweet from Eric Duham, who is the leader, of course, of the Conservative Party of Quebec. Here's what he's tweeting out this morning. In fact, just 25 minutes ago, he tweeted this out, okay? And I'm translating from the French. He writes this. François Legault wants to ban the sale of hybrid and gasoline vehicles. It's too expensive. The technology is not suited to our climate or geography, and we will soon run out of electricity. This is absurd. And he is encouraging people to sign a petition, which is called Mon Char, Mon Choix, My Car, My Choice, basically. That's a website they've launched, moncharmonchoix.com. That's what the Conservatives have launched to pass along that message. So let's talk a little bit more on this subject with another member of the Conservative Party of Quebec. He's their spokesperson on economic matters. Adrien Pouliot is on the line. Adrien, welcome to the program.
Good morning, Elias.
So, let me ask you this. I'm reading Monsieur Duham's tweet. Eric's a good guy. He's been on the show before. We have a good time when he's on the show, okay? But I'm reading the tweet here, okay? He says the technology is not suited to our climate or geography, and we will soon run out of electricity. It is not lost on me. In fact, I talked about this right off the top of this program at 9 o'clock. The numbers are out from Norway. Norway is, of course, a Nordic country. In July, in Norway, just 45 gas cars were sold. It is now 92% of sales are electric only, 5% are hybrids and plug-in hybrids. So I take some issue here. We can get into the, government bans and that kind of thing, but I take some issue into the facts where you've got a cold country like Norway where 92% of cars are now electric that are sold. Things are going fine. In fact, their electrical grid is more resilient, not less resilient than it was 5 years ago. So what about that? Are the facts all right here?
Well, you have to look at each country and their grid. Let's go back. So the sneaky Legault government published a notice right before the construction holidays saying, hey, we want to pass this new draft regulation, which will prohibit the sale of not only of gas-powered vehicles, but also hybrids after 2035. And so we're saying, hey, hang on. There is already regulation which forces car manufacturers to increase their sales of electric vehicles. Right now in Quebec, it's 20.5%, and it's suddenly starting to increase really fast. I mean, it has to be 22% in 2025, then the following year 32%, following year 45%, following year 60%, and by 2029 it's going to be 75% that you have to sell in electric vehicles, otherwise you pay a fine. So what we're saying is, look, there are so many issues that it's time to take a break, to slow down, and to look at what's happening. First, there's a technological issue. I mean, Recurrent, which is an app that is in 18,000 electric vehicles in North America, says that the average loss of range in cold weather is 30%. For the Bolt, for example, it's 32%. For the Tesla S, it's 55%. So clearly, the technology is not up to speed for our Quebec winters. The second issue is power. Okay, so contrary to gas, which is, available everywhere, we have an issue in Quebec. A few years ago, we had surpluses, but now because of the tremendous increase in demand caused mainly by artificial intelligence and IT, we now have shortages. So Hydro-Quebec has announced a grandiose plan to increase its capacity within 10 years by the equivalent of 4 Manic 5 dams. Okay, that's huge, and we don't know if this is going to happen or not. There is a big question mark there. And the third question mark is a commercial issue. I mean, manufacturers are losing their shirt right now. And, the grants to electric vehicles are going to stop in a couple of years. Biden has announced massive tariffs and Trump also, massive tariffs on the importation of Chinese electric vehicles. So, the costs are not going down. The cost of insurance is going up. The cost of charging stations is there. So, and the other cost is that all these manufacturers are losing their shirt selling these cars. I mean, Ford lost $1.1 billion in 3 months.
Okay, so but let me ask you it this way, right? Because I want to say something. There's a bit of an agreement here because I believe that this government ban, putting a target day and banning the sale of anything, is ridiculous. But the reason I think it's ridiculous is because the government is just trying to take credit for the inevitable, right? So the free market would actually decide, we're seeing it in Norway. By the way, China right now is at 50%. China is at 50% battery cars, right? The free market's going to take care of all of this. It will happen before 2035. I don't need government bans to interfere in the free market. What I find interesting, though, from with the lines I'm getting from the Conservative Party is not going on, hey, let the free market decide, let people decide. I'd be all on board with that. What I don't like is, the sort of half truths about climate and this and yada, yada, yada. Just focus on what I think is in your wheelhouse. The free market should decide this as opposed to a government.
Well, I think that the issues I talked about are not half-truths. I mean, the issue about technology, about power, about the economic model for electric vehicles is quite real. But, I agree with you, and I'm going to add something to what you're saying. I agree that the market will take care of itself. I think a lot of people like electric vehicles, particularly if they live in Montreal or in Quebec City. It's not the same thing if you live in Rimouski or Lac-Saint-Jean.
Well, so I'll push back with you there because I just spent some time this weekend in the country, and I was floored. Chevy Bolt, Nissan Leaf, Tesla in the driveways. And it's because everyone has a driveway and they can plug in overnight, and it's easy to plug in. Au contraire, I think if you're out in the country and you have your own driveway, that's where it's easy. It's difficult if you live in the plateau and you can't plug in on the street.
Well, there is an issue certainly in Montreal about multi-residential buildings, about whether or not hydro can hook you up or not. But the differences in regions, the distances are huge.
Mm-hmm.
So that's an issue, the issue of distances. But so I think that probably the market, there's going to be an increase. We don't know where the technology is going. Hopefully it's going to improve. All the issues I raised may disappear with time, but I think there would be an increase in any event. The free market will take care of that. So what's happening now is the government is putting penalties on manufacturers if they don't reach a certain level, a certain percentage of sales. So what's happening is the manufacturers now have excess inventory because they're producing these cars for people, but people are not buying them. So what this has caused is losses for these manufacturers and excess inventory and a drop in the value of used cars. So if you're a consumer and you bought an electric vehicle a couple of years ago, or you leased an electric vehicle a couple of years ago, now you realize that the car has depreciated by like 50, 60, 70%. It's a disaster. So you're right. I mean, if you let the market decide, there will be an automatic adjustment with offer and demand at the right inventory levels. Listen,
I think that we have points of agreement and disagreement. I really do think we just need to get out of the way here. It would have been absurd if governments got involved with digital cameras versus film cameras. The digital one, it's just simply better at the end of the day. HD TV versus CRT televisions, the government getting involved would have been absurd. And I think when it comes to electric cars, it's the war's over, by the way. The people in the know, you talk about very rightfully, Ford losing money here, the other manufacturers, everyone who's in the industry actually knows what's up. We know where this is going to end up. Electric car is going to win. But just get out of the way. Stop with subsidies here, bankrolling here, government trying to decide who wins and how. Just get out of the way.
Governments are not good at choosing technology, and so we don't know. Elias, there might be hydrogen cars.
It's not. So this is Adrien. You know what? Listen, I tell you, we could agree on a lot of things. You just brought up hydrogen. So, and again, the only reason I'm in the know here, I host this show. We do a transit segment. I talk to people in the industry. Hydrogen is the most absurd technology for a car. I'd love to do 3 hours on how bad of an idea hydrogen is. And I keep hearing it from the people like, oh, but it's going to be hydrogen. It's not.
I'm not saying it's going to be hydrogen.
It's not. It's not. Hydrogen's a disaster. It's not.
Well,
it's not going to work.
I mean, there's Williams Advanced Engineering has a platform for electric vehicles, but I don't know honestly. But there are other technologies that people are working on. E-fuels are one. I mean, Porsche is working on e-fuels with Siemens Energy, and they have a plant. They actually have a plant that is producing e-fuel. So all I'm saying is that
let them figure it out, not government.
Let them figure it out. Yeah, you don't know. I mean, is it VHS or Beta? I mean, I don't know.
Who
knows? So just let the market decide.
I'm Adrien. I'm over time. Come back real soon. Good talking to you. Okay.
Thanks a lot, Elias.
Adrien Pouliot is a spokesperson from the Conservative Party of Quebec on economic matters.